Back when Seibert Media started to be an expert for Atlassian, there was only Bill, at least in my view. I only knew you because you were kind of all Confluence marketing.
Right,
and then this grew and grew. And
Sure.
maybe you can tell us a bit about how things changed when you started to take care of Confluence and
Sure.
how that developed. And
Okay, yeah. I can talk. Should I hold the camera?
No.
Or hold the microphone?
You can also.
Yeah, so let's see. I've been with the company for about 5 years now, so Confluence has really evolved in that time. I used to be a marketing guy, so I was more on the outbound promotions, blogging, working with experts like you, Martin, to get the word out about Confluence. Since then, I think, boy, our customer base, I don't know the exact numbers now, but we're easily 3 or 4 times the size we were back then. So in terms of just sheer breadth of customers, we're a lot larger. The product has evolved a lot. We used to kind of talk about Confluence in the context of an enterprise wiki, but we're seeing it kind of expand into other uses. People are using it for document collaboration. People are using it for blogging. People are using it for more social engagement. It's a key part of the development process we see. So development teams write their specs in there. They write release notes in there. They put all their product documentation in there. So it's been amazing to see it spread and see the customer base grow and talking to new customers every day and learning new uses for Confluence.
So it's no longer a wiki?
Well, I guess that's something we'll have to have a few beers and talk over. It depends. I think the concept of a wiki has evolved over time. So it's not just a simple HTML page that you can edit. Wiki is, I think of it as more of a style of collaboration. It's more of an ethos. So in that case,
not that hierarchical company management, but rather everybody can contribute.
That's right. It's about one of Atlassian's tenets is open company, no bullshit, and I think Confluence in a way embodies that. We try to increase transparency within organizations, give everyone a voice, allow everyone to contribute content and discuss that content. So that's what we've really built Confluence to be able to do, not just be a wiki, but to allow companies to become wiki-style collaborators.
Can you highlight one thing? Oh, that's going to be loud here. One thing that I wanted especially to ask you about is when I started to be interested in Confluence, and shall I take it? It was something like Confluence 2 or 3, and
sure.
You still had like a wiki markup and
Sure.
a regex editor, and
Sure.
then Atlassian decided to invest heavily into getting rid of wiki markup, and a lot of people, including me, thought, oh, that's a bad idea. Wiki markup is the only stable thing. It's so easy.
Okay.
And maybe you can wrap this up from like a year or 2 years.
Sure.
What did you invest? What does this mean today for Confluence as a product?
Oh, sure. So again, there's that debate, does having a wiki markup mean that you're a wiki, and not having a wiki markup mean you're no longer a wiki? Again, that's something we can have beers over and discuss. When we talk to customers, they said, hey, our developers love Confluence, but there's this hurdle that to really harness the power of Confluence, you need to know this thing called wiki markup. And so we heard over an onboarding hurdle. We heard time and time again, oh yeah, my business users, they're used to Microsoft Word. They see the wiki markup, they get scared and run the other way. So what our challenge was to set out to do is to keep all the flexibility of wiki markup, but also the ease of use of the rich text editor. It's something that we didn't take lightly. It took us about 2 years from the time we began the project to the time we actually shipped it to customers.
Actually, you were investing like in the product in 2 ways. You had 2 branches, right? One branch where you just developed the existing product, and then another where you developed, back then it was Confluence 4 with the new editor, correct?
Well, we developed in parallel, so we kind of forked the product off into its own branch, and then that was probably 3-1 time frame when we branched it off. Had a team just working on. Oh, wow, you're testing my memory now. We had a team of maybe 5 or 6 to start with, and then it grew to be the entire Confluence team by the end of the release cycle. So we launched that 2 years ago, and probably since then, it was a big hurdle for a lot of customers to say, wow, I've trained myself to use wiki markup, and now I'm have to learn this new thing. That was about 2 years ago. And what I've been fascinated by on this road trip, talking to customers, again, the night is young, but everyone loves the editor. Everyone loves Confluence 5, which is what we just put out. So customers seem excited, and I'm excited.
Actually, that's the main reason why I'm asking, because I think it was a very good idea to invest in that editor.
Right.
Do you happen to know any other product? And I know as someone who's responsible for marketing and getting the word out, it may not be the most delightful thing, but what other software do you know that has an editor like this? Is there any? Which one can compete?
Another product with the same editor. That's interesting, yeah, because I think in terms of like a web editor, I haven't seen any real direct comparison at all. Obviously, client-side editors are much more powerful, feature-rich. Obviously, Microsoft Word is the first one that comes to mind. Google Docs is a really good online editor. They have again, their charter is a little bit different. They're trying to be more like Microsoft Word for the web. They're not necessarily trying to be a collaborative wiki style editor.
Exactly.
I can't answer that question. I can't think of another comparison.
Actually, I'm sorry for asking the.
Put me on the spot.
Actually, I was expecting exactly this, because when I'm talking to customers, I have a hard time telling them, look, this is as good as this web editor. Because you could say maybe Google Docs is maybe even better, more robust than Confluence, but it's still very, very different. It's different from the purpose of the use, and it's also different from what it can do. It's not meant to be a wiki page, an intranet, a website. It's meant to be a Word file, right?
Right, and probably the biggest difference is the hierarchy that you can have within Confluence. So you can organize your pages within a hierarchy. So one of the new features we came out in 5.1 is the concept of blueprints. So people said, hey, my users can use Confluence, but they don't know how to get started. They just see this blank page. So blueprints allow you to start with predefined templates, page types, if you will, meeting notes, file lists, feature specifications, and we're coming out with more, and then structure that content in a hierarchy that makes sense for your users. So wikis and Confluence is more about hierarchy and having the macros in addition to just writing content online.
It's always been difficult to ask Atlassian, what are you going to do within the next 3 or 5 years? So what are you going to do in the next 3 or 5 years?
Okay, that's a
with
good
Confluence.
point. Yeah, so a couple things. Let me think about, the editor. We still think there's a lot of cool things that we can do there. We have some secret features coming out, which I can't spoil right now, so we're always doing more with the editor. We're looking at enterprise features, so we're coming out with improving search. We think about the way a big part of collaborating is being able to find content, not just creating content and discuss content. So we're looking to improve search. What other themes do we have? We have a lot going on, and my brain is probably still in Paris right now.
Which is okay.
So more Jira integration is another area that we hear people wanting. So being able to have Confluence and Jira act like one system, having better linking and navigation between the two.
There was I gave a speech at an Atlassian user group on Monday, actually.
Okay,
and
cool.
I told the crowd that Atlassian would be one day synchronize or somehow connect to-dos in my workbox in Confluence with issues in Jira. Is that something that you actually have on the roadmap, or is
maybe
it just
we'll have to see
something that only my vision is?
Maybe, yeah. And tasks within Confluence are very different than Jira issues. So Jira issues are more about I have a structured due date. I need to be able to triage these things. Tasks within Confluence are more about personal tasks and just it's more of a checklist than it is than a task list. So we want to keep it lightweight. Probably some cases people want to be able to turn those into Jira instances, but our goal is to definitely have people understand that those are sort of two different things. A Jira ticket is different than a lightweight task in Confluence.
So what's the next feature for Confluence 5.2? that you
5.2. Well, I mentioned there's a brand new search UI coming out. Mm-hmm. We have some little editor improvements that we're working on, and I should mention on search that we're looking at the algorithm as well. So we have some improvements coming that way.
Better ranking.
Better ranking.
So the Atlassian PageRank.
Well, I don't know if we're going to call it that, but yeah, looking at how we prioritize search results. We have more blueprints coming out. That's been really successful, and people really like the fact that blueprints help them get started and kind of bootstrap the creation process. So we have more coming in that area, and what else do we have? Just some constant improvements in the collaboration cycle. So thinking about how people create content, share content, discuss content, and find content. We're really trying to supercharge that process and take all the friction that we can out of it.
Okay, if I was a customer and I wanted to introduce Confluence in my company, I could use an expert like Seibert Media.
Certainly,
what can you say about experts in general and Seibert Media in specific?
Oh, I think experts fill a huge role within the Atlassian ecosystem. I think we try to do as much out of the box as we can within all of our products, but we know that there's always a need to kind of match features with business requirements. And I think our experts know the products really well, and I think they are able to sit down with customers, understand their business requirements, and marry the features with those requirements. And sometimes they might need custom plugins made, they might need some training done, they might need just some general guidance on how to roll out the products, roll out Confluence, for example. So I think there's a huge need for that, and customers should talk to experts when they need that kind of help.
Okay, so what can you say about Seibert Media in specific?
You guys are awesome marketers, as demonstrated by this video here. And I think you guys are a thought leader, especially in Germany. I've seen you guys get a lot of attention within the German and European market. Mm-hmm. So keep it up.
Okay, if you had one word to describe what you see in Seibert Media as a partner, that would be?
Yeah, I think you guys are, again, probably collaboration thought leaders, so especially social media.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bill, thanks.
Thanks, Martin.